Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Sunday. And what is Sunday all about? The Sunday sermon, right? So today is June 8th of 2025. And what are we going to talk about today? Well, I thought about talking about why it's important, girls, why it's important to do the things you want now instead of waiting. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yes, if you didn't already know it, this is the weekend. We do the business and stuff on a weekday, Monday through Friday, but on the weekends I go off the rail to whatever topic I want. And the biggest thing that I see, and I'm guilty of it as well, terrible guilty of it before my open heart surgery, and that is wasting the time that you have here on earth. You know, God gives you a choice. You can either have a good life or a bad life. That's up to you. You can be the one that bitterly complains about everything, or you can be the one that sees the positive and enjoys life. Now, when I say enjoys life, I don't mean that it's going to be a cakewalk. You know, the sad reality of it is that we're going to lose people and pets and everything else that we love, and we're going to miss them dearly, right? And I hear people tell me, you know, I wish I would have had the time to tell that person how much I really cared about them. And the truth is, I can't shout it from the highest mountain, is that you can do it at any time. Yes, you can't physically give someone a hug, but that doesn't mean you can't tell them how you feel. And it also doesn't mean that you can't ask them to help guide you in what you have going on daily. Are they going to micromanage it for you, and are you going to hear their voice? No, not unless you're schizophrenic. You're going to see things happen. The people that have gone before us are still around us. You just can't see them, that's all. But they're there. And now you're going to say, well, I think you must be totally off your rocker, Eric. And that would be okay to say. But I've been to the other side and back. And it's taught me one really important fact, and that is to hug the people around me that I do care about and let them know every day how much I care about them. Don't assume that someone doesn't want to hear that you love them. You know, I may have said this before, you guys, but one of the things that my daughter and my granddaughter required of me, and still do, is every night I need to check in with them. Yes, a 62-year-old checking in with a 40-year-old and a 19-year-old. And why am I checking in? I guess it's to see if I'm still alive or not. But they wanted to hear about my day and how I was doing. And the most important part was my final 3 words: I love you. And I asked them, I said, honestly, you know, it's been a while. So the nightly check-ins don't need to take place, because I don't want to bother you both because you're very busy. And I said, when are you going to finally get tired of hearing me say I love you? And it really surprised me because they both almost instantly, I've never seen responses that fast and the same answer. Never. So keep that in mind. You know, you can say, well, they already know it, but they want to hear it, and they want to hear it every day. It's that important. And I can only imagine what they went through, having to worry about me, this whole fart, you know, whether you're going to make it back or not. And I've always said that, you know, when you have someone critical like myself, it's harder on the people around you than it is you, because you're oblivious to the fact that any of the stuff is transpiring, right? And when you finally start to come around, you're dealing with pain and your own crapola, so you're not seeing and hearing and of them and how much they are worried about you. And the thing is it's showing you how much you're loved. You know, had I not made it back, would I have been okay? Yeah. Yep. Am I glad to be back? Yes. I still have more time and so many my first yet to do. I started yesterday. See, I don't know if I told you guys, but last week I tackled cinnamon rolls. Yes, I've become a Betty Crocker. So after binge watching YouTube on how to make cinnamon rolls, I created my own recipe. Now, I use Claude as a taste tester, and if he survived eating the cinnamon roll, then I knew that at least it was somewhat good, right? It didn't kill anybody. But what I failed to do is to write down the exact recipe. Because see, here's what I do. I don't copy somebody's own recipe. I look at a bunch of them and I say, I could use this or this or this. And, you know, like where they had the 4 cups of water with the flour, and I substituted it with 2 cups of milk and 2 cups of water like I did my bread yesterday. Yes, I'm making bread. But the cinnamon rolls turned out really good. I had some hot out of the oven. I had one. And I thought that it lacked the brown sugar and cinnamon. So I sent 2 up with Claude because he loves cinnamon rolls. And then I sent a couple to good friends of mine that I just moved his tractor for him. And the 3 of them survived, so that's a good plus when it comes to baking for others. But all 3 of them said it was outstanding. They competed with the best bakery out there. And the best bakery out there charges almost $5 for one of those suckers. So I had to deduct $8 off Claude's pay this week. No, I didn't. So, being the Betty Crocker that I am, I decided why not tackle bread. So that's what I did. I started binge watching all the different ways to make white bread because I'm going to do sourdough too. But you have to start this sourdough starter, and it takes quite a few days in advance to having sourdough bread, which I didn't know. Thus, YouTube videos. If you don't know, punch it into the search. Somebody somewhere is doing it, and make it your own. Well, that's what I did to the bread last night. I did they said 4 cups of water. I put in 2 cups of water and 2 cups of warm milk. They said to take in with the 4 cups of warm water, add a little bit of sugar and your yeast and let it get bubbly. Well, I took and I added the 2 cups of water, 2 cups of milk, and I put a tablespoon of sugar in, and then 3 packages of dry yeast. And to let it get all nice and frothy for about 10 minutes. Well, mine was really cooking in about 8 minutes, right? So then they said you had to add 10 cups of flour. And I'm looking at my mixing bowl. And my mixing bowl is, I don't even know what they call it. It's my wife's unit. I bought it for her years ago because she loves to cook and bake. But it's the mixer that flips back, and you got the great big bowl, and it's got all the different attachments. And so I decided, no, I'm not going to add 10 right off the bat. I'm going to do it a little different. So I put the dough hook on, and they said to put an egg in it. I didn't put the egg in it. So I went ahead and I put the dough hook on, and I put 4 cups in, and I let it start going around and around. Speeded it up, and then I started adding 1 more cup at a time as it was working, letting it, because I didn't think it could get it all mixed up good. So once I got to the 9th cup, my mixer was making funny noises, like it was having a hard time trying to roll that dough around the inside of the bowl. But the one video said, you know it's ready when it cleans the whole bowl so it's shiny and you have your whole dough. So I stopped it there, tipped the unit back so they could just let the bread fall off. And I grabbed pieces of dough and I give it to both of my dogs and myself. It was pretty decent, just the dough. So I get it all out and it says, most of them are saying 8 to 10 minutes of kneading, where you just keep rolling it back onto itself. Well, after about 5 minutes, I said, screw this. It's not like I want to be the Incredible Hulk with muscles. And why don't women that cook and do a lot of baking have like Arnold Schwarzenegger arms? Because it's a lot of hard work. So I get it all ready and it says to let it rest in the bowl, to let it rise. And then you poke a hole in it and let it go down. So I started digging through the tins that we keep underneath the cupboard, and I've only got one bread tin. And I got enough to make 4 loaves, by the way. So, another add to the recipe, I took and I put it in the refrigerator and covered it with a cloth so it would slow rise. And Claude and I are going to Sam's Club this morning to get our monthly haul of the stuff we like from there. Grapes, pepperoni, my juices. I keep orange juice and apple juice in the shop that I drink. I've tried to cut back on the coffee. I only have the one now instead of drinking coffee all day. I try to stay hydrated. And I drink a lot of water. So then I'll find out how I turn out with my bread this afternoon when I have other tins that I can put in there. And then I might do, because I got the spray stuff so it doesn't stick to the non-stick. They say it's non-stick, right? So why should you have to spray the Spam or Pam or whatever it is on a non-stick container? Then somebody said put parchment paper in there and you won't have it stick. In a non-stick pan? Well, anyways, I'll let you know how it turns out tomorrow. And then once I get done with that, then I'm going to put my plants into the garden today that I got from our local Walmart, because I went to my kids' t-ball and baseball games yesterday. In between games, because one started at 9, got over at 10, and then the other one started at noon, and that got over, I think, right around 2 o'clock. But I went to Walmart quick and picked up tomatoes, cucumbers, watermelon, squash, and then I got in the seeds, carrots, radishes, sunflower seeds. I think that's it. We decided not to go gung-ho this year. Normally Claude has a garden and then I have 2 gardens. But most of it, like the pumpkins, I forgot. The kids will come when the pumpkins and sunflowers are ready. And they'll take big sunflower with them and a couple pumpkins and knock themselves out. But it's all in depending upon how you want your life to be. I know it's kind of bringing it around focus again because I get off on a tangent. But life is what you make of it. If you're sitting there waiting for God to step in and make you a wonderful life and do everything for you and make you comfortable, it's not going to happen. Folks, it's not going to happen. You have to put forth an effort. You do. And you're going to say, well, I put forth a lot of effort and I'm not seeing it. Well, it depends upon where you're putting forth the effort. If you're trying to define your life based on dollars and cents, I got news for you. It's not going to make you happy. If you're not happy right now, you're not going to be happy being a multi-gazillionaire. I'm telling you right now. Well, it'll make my life easier. No, it won't. It'll make it more complicated because A, you won't know who your friends are. B, you're not going to enjoy the little things in life when you can because you're too busy wiping your ass with money. I know I've been on both ends. And if you're not happy here, you're not going to be happy there. Actually, you're going to be worse off there. Why do so many rich people come across as depressed? Because they thought money would solve all their problems. See, if you can solve your problems when you don't have money and find ways to enjoy life, money can add that to that enjoyment. Instead of having the old car that you got to keep tinkering on, you're able to afford a new one, right? Or in Amos's case, he goes and buys stuff he knows he can fix, right, Amos? But that's the thing is, whether you're driving the old truck that you know you can fix or you're driving that brand new truck, you've come to appreciate what the truck is and how much enjoyment it can bring. And you're enjoying life. But if you're not enjoying life and you go out and get a loan and get a new truck and you're wondering why it doesn't, that happy state doesn't last long, it's because you put too much emphasis on money gonna solve your problems versus taking care of and realizing how important life is. How important life is. God lets us be here for a short period in time. And that's to enjoy, and to enjoy the people around you. If you're focused on dollars and cents, then you're not focused on relationships. I value relationships way more than I do money. Because I enjoy listening to people and hearing what's going on in their lives with their families, the updates. But you need to get into your space of what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. And if you tell me that money brings you joy and happiness, I got news for you. How are you going to take that with you when you go? Well, I'm going to have a great time while I'm here. With who? Well, I'll have lots of friends. Really. If you didn't have any money, how many friends do you have right now? Can you count them on one hand, or do you have quite a few? Having the right people around you isn't going to be because either you don't have the money or you have tons of it. Material things come and go. But what doesn't is relationships that you have with others, with your kids, your significant other, extended family. I'm telling you here and now, your kids and the people that are close to you want to hear you say, I love you. And say it often, daily. So on that note, I got to get ready for my 1 8/10 of a mile walk this morning. I do it every morning now. Just give that some thought. Money cannot solve problems. I can hear you, Amos. So you guys have a great Sunday. We'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning for the weekday. All right, you guys have a great Sunday.